Hello, all. This is Summer Reads Romance, and I'm here with Kay the Reader with Black Readers Con. Uh, sorry, I'm trying to bring up our banner. We're here uh, every month to promote Black Readers Con. We have a conference in New York in October and virtually. This is a conference that is especially for readers, Black readers, and our interest. Today we are our topic is listening, audiobooks. Listening is reading, and we have with us Diem's Diamonds. It's an audiobook a narrator fan group. We have Jacqueline Frotho from Nubian Audio. She's audiobook producer, and we have Audio in Black, which is a audiobook promotion company.
Yes.
Okay, yes. So I'll let them introduce themselves. Kay, did you want to say anything else before? Okay. All right. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves. Chanel?
Good evening. I'm Chanel. I'm a member of the admin team over at Diem's Diamonds. Diem's Diamonds is an international virtual fan community that was founded on the work of Mr. Jacoby Diem. But we broadly support and promote the books that are written by our talented independent authors and the narrators that perform their books in Black romance. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming. Jacqueline?
Hi, everybody. My name is Jock. I am the owner and founder of the Audio Flow and the imprint Nubian Audio, which promotes Black creatives in the area of audiobook production, casting, and narration, as well as authors, because they're the ones who give us the great stories so that we can create amazing audiobooks. I don't know really what else to say about it. I mean, I've been, Nubian Audio has been around since 2020. We're celebrating our 2-year anniversary next month. So we're excited about that. And we create content in all genres. So we are supportive of everything from nonfiction to the romanciest, dirtiest book out there. So there you go. Get the fans.
Thank you. Audio in Black.
Okay, I am Alexandria House, one of the co-creators of Audio in Black, along with author Joan Vassar. And we are a platform that showcases Black narrators, Black authors, and Black audiobooks. We seek to bring more attention to Black audiobooks and be a hub for all genres. We have, I believe, maybe 20 genres categories right now where we are cataloging Black audiobooks and linking them to the sales platforms. So that's what we do. We just want to give Black readers and whoever else wants to listen to it, a good hub for Black audiobooks.
Cool. And you guys are at audioinblack.com, right?
Yes.
And nubianaudio.com.
Yes.
And then DM Diamonds on all social media, right? It's at DM Diamonds.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
Yep.
Yes. And join their Facebook group if you want to know all things Black indie authors, Black authors, period, audiobooks, ebooks, all that. It's a great community. Okay, so we get into the questions. Why was it important to start your group or company? Because especially you, Jacqueline, you already have the audio flow. I've heard some of your mainstream romances that were a great production. Why Nubian Audio instead of just adding on to what you already have?
Well, my goal has always been twofold: is to be a representation for indie authors and also for narrators. And when I started the Audio Flow, um, I started as a podcaster, so it wasn't even an audiobook company. And then it branched off into audiobooks, and it's where I established myself. But in 2019, I was asked to be a part of the Audio Publishers Association's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. And after working in that area with several talented people and cultivating some things that we thought APA could do, I am that type of person. I don't like to wait for other people to do things that I feel like I can already do and get done. So I didn't want to wait for them to do anything, not saying that they weren't or they were dragging their feet or anything, but I was already in this space where I had networked with a lot of performers and a lot of authors. And I said, well, what can I do to bring awareness and bring in inclusivity in this area? And so I sat around, I was like, I'm going to start a new imprint because every year I've got to do something. And I'm going to start a new imprint. What is it going to be called? I slept on it. I woke up and Nubian Audio came to me. I was like, okay, that's the name. And originally, if you had followed it when it first started, it said for BIPOC voices. And at that time, I was like, I don't know what BIPOC means. What is this term that everybody is using? I was just trying to promote Black people. Don't laugh, but it's the truth. I was like, I don't know what BIPOC is. And then I was like, but it's really for us. And so I don't know, and I hope people don't take this wrong, but I can only do what I know. And I was like, I want the attention to be on the Black community and Black creatives. And so I actually went back this year and changed it to make sure it said that it was specifically for Black creatives, and that is for the author and for the narrator and publishers and producers like myself. And it was a need. It was needed. And so that's why I did it. And even though everybody knows me by the audio flow, my goal is to push Nubian audio because there's so many talented people out there as far as authors and narrators. And our goal is to provide quality products for the listeners. And so that's why I did it. It's like, it needs to be done. And I just did it. That's kind of how I roll.
I love that. You I know you was at the table like, you're like, okay, well, we'll get this person together and this person together. You were just like, okay, how about this?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. I don't have time to wait for other. People are always like, oh, we need to be invited to the table. I'm sure everybody knows here. It's like, we don't need to be invited anywhere. We create our own tables and we invite people that we want to the table and we serve what we want at our table. And so I was like, okay, yeah, that's what we doing over here. We making our own table and we inviting who we want to our table.
I love that. Miss House and Chanel, where did you guys? Why was it so important to start your group, start your company?
For Audio in Black, it was born out of a desire to see our audiobooks recognized and help people find them. Just in building the website and I didn't build it. I don't want y'all to think that, but just in getting everything, getting the books uploaded, and I discover something every day that I didn't know existed. Just putting books on the website. Audible and the big platforms are great, but it's very, very hard to find what you're looking for if it's not quote unquote mainstream, So if it's not being pushed in your face. So there are a lot of good Black audiobooks out there, awesome narrators, awesome authors that need to be recognized and need to be in the forefront. And that is what we strive to do. Is for all of us to be seen, every genre, even genres that people might think that Black people don't write, horror and paranormal, mystery, thrillers, erotica, LGBTQ, all of it. Our desire is for it to be recognized, to be seen, and to be enjoyed.
Yeah, I saw children's books on your
Yes.
I was like, oh, thank goodness. It's like, I mean, you guys had everything right there. I was loving it. In the audience, everybody's agreeing. It's like, yeah, we want to hear our voices. Like, we've been supporting everything else.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong for it to be. I was surprised that this didn't already exist. I was shocked that Audio in Black, that the domain was available, you know. So yeah, it's been a pleasure. I'm truly enjoying just being a co-creator and being a part of it.
Yeah, I was talking to Chanel and she was like, "Oh well, let her know we want audiobook." I'm like, I got about a list of 50 books that I want you guys to see if you can get on audio.
Definitely, please. Yep.
Like that, all the like old Farrah Rashan and it's like
Yes,
all
help
the
me, man.
old romance stuff. It's like, okay, if we can get just all those on audio,
Yeah.
I can
And,
have
and
like
one of our desires is to help indie authors who don't have anything on audio come to audiobooks. That's one of our desires too. And we do plan on giving awards, like having, we want to become the awards for Black audiobooks, you know, so.
love that. There's so many authors that I discovered on audio. V.O. White is one of them from Audible Escape, if you guys remember that.
Mhm.
I just find it, I was like, oh, a Black author. And I've found a couple of authors that I just love just because they have their audiobooks out there.
Right, right.
And Diem's Diamonds. I know how you guys started, but let's tell the world.
Well, for myself personally, entering into the pandemic, I think I felt very much like a lot of people felt overwhelmed, kind of worn out by the narrative that it was unsafe to go places and be in public and around people. And it was just an opportunity for me to escape from all of that by listening to audiobooks. And one of the first Black romance titles that I listened to was Miss Alexandria House's Let Me Love You, which was narrated by Jacoby Diem and Ademrele Ojo. And I had not first read any of Miss House's titles, and two, had not listened to anything by Miss Ojo or Mr. Diem. And I was like, how did I not know about these people? I was really upset. I was like, this is an amazing book. These are incredibly talented performers. Why have I not heard of them before? And so what do? You take to Google and you find out where these people are and how you can get more of their catalogs. And that's exactly what I did. I went down the rabbit hole. Well, in the rabbit hole, I connected with the other admin members of Diem's Diamonds, and they said, hey, wouldn't you like to start a book club where we talk more about Jacoby and the authors that he narrates for? And I said, yeah, let's do it. And we thought we would be doing great if we had 50 people in a few months, and we had 500. I mean, there was clearly an appetite, and a thirst for this type of content. And we were delighted because once we talked with him, shared with him what the progress had been, he was like, this is amazing. I didn't anticipate this. And when we shared with him our larger vision for the group to be able to promote independent Black authors, we have some incredibly talented writers in our community, and add to that the performers who narrate these books. And it's just a disservice to not have them be at the forefront of somebody's radar. So there you have Nubian Audio, you have Audio in Black, you have Diem's Diamonds, and a ton of other groups that are promoting this work because it deserves to be promoted, quite honestly. And so that's what we saw the need as being. We need to be discussing these books because it's quality content. And we also need to be introducing these artists to people who would not otherwise know about them. And so that's our goal every day, is to do just that.
And Karen, the reader, says, I found CCJ, which is Christina C. Jones, D.L. White, and Alex House through their audiobooks. I used to have an hour-long commute, and audiobooks helped that time fly by. Like happening. And so you guys also have from Diem's Diamonds, a couple of other narrator groups started from that, didn't it?
Absolutely. So Wesley Siobhan, also incredibly talented performer. She has Wesley's Besties. Emmanuel Ingram is fairly new to the romance genre, but he's gotten a sizable number of titles in his catalog. He has exclusively Emmanuel's. And so it was really a delight, actually, to see the interconnectivity of the community, how many different ways we could be connected to one another and support one another. And so this is just a delight for us. We seek to support this work in any way that we can. Ms. House has talked to me about ways that we can support Audio in Black. We're glad to do that. You know, I promote any events that Jocelyn has that we feel like might have interest in our group. It's just an amazing community. We're thrilled to just be a part of it.
Okay, so now this is Black Readers Con. So we try to make sure we have guests on who are readers. So this is the next question is, what do you love about audiobooks?
Who's that question for? Everybody?
For everybody, because I know you guys are all readers, because you can't make a good audiobook.
I think Alexandria was going to answer first.
I mean, I don't have to, but I will.
Well, I know, Ms. House, I know that you listen to your own audiobooks over and over again.
I sure do. I listen on repeat. But
Yes, she should. She should.
I greatly enjoyed my audiobooks. But what I love about audiobooks, well, number one, I have a visual impairment. I mean, I can see, but I try to save my eyesight to write because I am a full-time writer. So what I love about audiobooks is it's a way for me to experience books and save my eyesight. It's a way for you can really escape into the book, and I just love the performances. I love to hear the book brought to life, including mine. The first time I listened to Let Me Love You, which was my first audiobook of mine, I literally cried because I was like, oh my gosh, it sounds so good. Like, who wrote this? Oh, it was me. So
That's
So-
great.
So
Yeah.
did you help with the telling them which characters have what personalities? Or
No,
is
I
it
did
just-
it through a production company, through Tantor Media. So I was
Right.
totally hands off. I didn't hear it until it went up, was for sale. They didn't send me an early copy or anything. So I heard it. My first time hearing it was the first time the readers heard it. And so I turned it on and I thought, were these people in my head when I wrote the book? Because they interpreted it perfectly. And I think that's what brought me to tears, because I didn't know what I was going to hear. And I did have a hand in choosing who narrated it. I did do that. So I knew who was narrating. But when I listened to it, I thought, oh, wow. I mean, they made me sound like I could write, and I really appreciated it.
I love that. Okay, we had a comment earlier. Let's see, from DL White. My author groups are all going crazy for Google artificial intelligence doing their audiobooks. I said I felt my readers would fillet me if I did that. They love our voices too much to put up with the machine reading books. I am glad you know that. Because yeah.
Yes. Oh.
And Donna Evans says, I learn better by listening and reading. So audiobooks help me absorb information better than for nonfiction, but I also enjoy a good memoir via audio.
Yeah, I'm glad that so many people say that, and I'm glad. I'm gonna call you Alex. Everybody calls you Miss House, but I'm just gonna call you Alex because I'm sorry, that's what I want to do.
That's
But,
fine.
Okay. I am so glad that you mentioned about the visual impairment, because one of the things when a couple years ago I lost vision in my right eye from sickle cell retinopathy, and I couldn't see anything. And it gave me a whole totally different appreciation for audiobooks, because I couldn't read, I couldn't drive, I couldn't walk. My mom had to guide me around and stuff. And I was like, so audiobooks isn't just for entertainment. It's just not so, when I'm cleaning my house or walking my dog or doing laundry or whatever, I can enjoy a good book. But it's also because people depend on audio. And when we think about it that way, as it being a means to somebody getting education or storytelling or understanding, hearing what's going on in the news, that makes it that much greater for us to be in this business that we're in, is that we're sharing this content in a way that is accessible to somebody else. And that's one of the reasons why I love audio, because again, I was able to appreciate it from a different concept, but also, like Alex said, those performances. when you get a book and it just performs like you watching a stage play or something, or hearing a stage, whatever, and you feel every emotion, you feel every sarcastic moment, you feel every moment when they're in that bed, like you that third person participating in that, and all of that stuff, and you like, man, they really captured the essence of that story. And it just blows my mind when you have people that, can do that. And I love it when I'm listening to a book and I laugh, because I'm like, oh my God, I can hear that person say that. Like, I can see them doing that. And you can tell that they enjoy what they do. You will always know when a performer enjoys what they do, because they are in tune with the story, and also with the author and the listeners, and it's like a collaboration, and that's what gives me excitement. That's why I love audiobooks so much.
And I love audiobooks because it just reminds me, even being a child, I loved being read to, whether it's by my mom, my aunt. Oh, and then being in school and the teacher would read out loud to
Yeah.
you, and all the other kids would be in class like this, and I would be like this, because I wanted to hear the story. And so I really love the audiobooks, and how the narrators, the actors, bring the books to life. And it helps you to helps those books to stay with you, because you already have visioned in your mind how the character looks. Now you can tie to it what they sound like. And so I love audiobooks.
Karen, the reader, has a comment. I love that you can read and do other things at the same time. I also love how immersive the experience can be, especially when the narrators are voice actors.
Mhm.
Now, that's something I learned because I've only started reading audiobooks in the last couple during the pandemic, because I couldn't sit and read. And acting versus just narrating
Mhm.
that's wow. It's like
Yes.
that's like really brings the character to life, versus
And
just being narrated
for,
to.
for people who have not gotten into audio, that's a distinction that's important to be made up front. A lot of people do think it is Alexa reading to you. No shade to Alexa, she gets the job done, but a performance is very different. You have trained artists, talented actors who are being brought into the booth that are using an extension of that artistic talent in their voices, and it can't be replicated by a machine. There are intentions, there are things that are implied by the authors, like Ms. House was saying. People have to interpret that can be done by a robot. And so I share with people all the time, if you've not listened to an audiobook being performed, not just simply narrated, you need to hear it. And then, of course, I've got plenty of recommendations about where they can start. But I do appreciate DL's comment earlier about people wanting to get their books read by machines. And we as avid listeners say, please do not do that. One of the things that Jacoby has shared with Diamonds that he's so thrilled about in this community is that it gives artists who would not otherwise get the opportunity to be heard. We all probably can make some assumptions about what it's like to be a working actor and going to casting calls and ultimately being selected based on how you look or how you sound. And to be able to go into a booth, you get the benefit of just becoming whoever you need to be in your voice. And so a lot of people who would not otherwise get an opportunity to display their acting talent are getting the chance to do so through narration. And so that's something that he's really happy to see, and so are we.
Tabitha Newark Gaffney says, the beauty of words can be experienced through multiple mediums. Audio is one that has taken off because it captures the essence of our beautiful Black voices, which hold depth and breadth of love, resilience, joy, pain, triumph. Living and life comes through the voices, and we feel it. That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
What do you love about? Did you want to say more about what you love about audiobooks, Janelle?
Personally, I love to be able to do other things. Well, I listen. I am a wife and a mom of 3 teenage boys, and so life is busy. I'm in the car. I'm, in the laundry room. I'm in all the places, and so I can burn through some audiobooks very, very easily. Whereas sitting and reading either an ebook or a physical book might take me some time.
Mhm.
Okay, I think this question is I guess everybody can answer this question. What do you want Black readers to know about audiobooks? Since this is Black Readers Con, what specifically do you want Black readers to know about audiobooks?
I pitched this question to folks on our admin team, and one thing that was lifted up as a real point was this: listening is reading. A lot of people have this idea that if you're not sitting with an ebook, and there was that bias when ebooks came out, right? People thought if you didn't have a physical book, it wasn't the same as same reading as with an ebook. And then people kind of stepped into that, started to accept that as a medium that was okay. And so we're in the same place now with audiobooks, and we want people to make that same pivot, that same shift to knowing that you're experiencing the book. It would be no different than a book being made into a movie or into a stage play. It's just a different way of experiencing the material, and it still counts as experiencing the art, because that's really what it is.
Lisa Whitehead says, I was not a fan of audiobooks and have never listened to one until I found this incredible community that is so supportive and opened my eyes to audiobooks. Yeah. Diem Diamonds. If you guys are interested in romance and romance novels, that is definitely the place you need to be part of that Facebook group.
We got you. Come on. We got you.
And Donna Evans asks, do authors have say in who narrates their books? I guess Jock and
I want to comment on your last question first about what will we say to
Black readers?
The Black readers. And I would say, keep an open mind about audiobooks, because before I listened to it, I was like most readers. I don't want nobody read it to me. I want to read the book myself. So, because the person not gonna sound like they do in my head. Well, of course they're not gonna sound like the voices in your head. Those are your voices, and that's your head. But when you go into it with an open mind that this is a companion piece to the actual book, they go hand in hand. Odd thing is that mostly readers don't convert to audio, or audio people don't convert to reading. So it's usually very slim that you have people that do both. But for us to try to help drive people to audiobooks is, okay, tell me what genre you enjoy listening to, and kind of find out what that person likes, and then you can direct them to something that maybe like Chanel said, that she has a whole list of things that she could give recommendations. So based off of that conversation with somebody, recommend something that you think that they might like. Everybody doesn't like duet. So maybe you think that might not be a first book for them to start with. They might get confused. Maybe it needs to be a single POV or whatever. So I think that also helps. And then I tell people, it's just like TV. Just close your eyes when you watch TV. That's an audio book. That's an audio book. And sometimes they even have sound effects if you get an audio drama. So win-win. But just, let people, it's like a play. It is another extension of that book, and it is a performance, and it's a part of the arts. And I think that's how I kind of help people, kind of get into audiobooks. And then I say, just listen to this person's voice. I won't mention the name of any of the voices. And then I'll just say, just listen. And then I'll leave them be. And then they'll come back and say they got this book, this book, this book. And so my job is done there. And then the other question was about, are authors able to choose their narrator? Do they have a say in their narrators? I think yes, sometimes, depending on who they're working with. If their book is acquired by a publisher, sometimes they're not. they have been more flexible with that in the last couple years, is allowing authors to participate in the casting process. Prior to like 2016, many weren't, unless they were best-selling New York Times, etc., etc. They would let them do that, but otherwise, technically, publishers do not have to let authors have a say so, because they own the rights. So they have a right to pick and cast whoever they want. I think Alex had mentioned this, working with Tantor, she was able to select her narrator, which is great, because I think that authors should be included in that process, especially if they're audiobook listeners. They know what sound they want. They know, what their characters sound like. And they also have the flexibility to seek out new talent if that's what they want to do. And that's just speaking for clients that I speak with. Everybody I work with, I give them an opportunity to choose their narrator. Even if I own the rights, I will audition and I will send them over. What do you think about this person? Again, because it's a collaborative effort, and I don't want to just put something out and they're just like, I sold my book to them and they pick somebody and they suck. Not that I don't say anybody sucks, but I don't want them to feel that way. I want them to still be a part of the process and it be a product that they're happy with sharing, saying, yes, we've got Wesley narrated this whole series for us and we were excited. So, but that's just my what I've noticed about that part.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Summer.
Oh no, there's some books I listened to. They're probably made about maybe 2012 or something like that. And I really wish they could re-record them. It's like the narrator is a good narrator, but is not the narrator for that book.
It does not. And then it's just bad when they don't even ask you, because you listen to audiobooks. So it's not like you went into it blindly, like, oh, I'm just gonna give you you do whatever you want with this. Like, no, I listen to audiobooks, and that person was clearly not the right choice. And unfortunately, some people don't care. And I hate to say it, some people don't care. They won't treat your baby like you would if you did it yourself, or you had the ability to give an opinion about what it is you want. They're like, okay, we got this many books. We need to get this many books out by the end of the year. And this person is available. We're going to go ahead and hire them and get it out. And then that's it. And it's just bad.
One of my favorite authors got Black Cowboys, and the audiobook sound like Dukes of Hazzard. I was like, man, how much does it cost to redo? But Monica Stark says,
Hazzard.
Girl, I was listening to like, maybe I just move over to ebook.
That happens sometimes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just saying, sometimes it happens that way. You just like, let me just read the book.
I was going to say that I love what you said. I love a single narrator. I love a duet. I love 4 people. Doesn't matter to me. Give me sound effects, but only if they're done in the right way. I don't want to hear somebody's heels clicking across the floor necessarily, but a little background music, I was listening to an audiobook once where the sound effects were great, but they were gunshots and bombs going off in the background, and I was driving at the time, so I'm ducking while I'm driving because it was a little bit too much, but it did enhance the book. But I was like, they could have left a little bit of that out, But I do love the different voices. I love to hear the characters change and all of that. So I'll take it all. I just
no taken.
Monica Stark says Jacoby changed all negative thoughts on audiobooks for me. I also have eye issues and cannot read as much as I like. And Lisa Whitehead says, I'll say names because it's important to recognize their talents. Jacoby and Wesley made me a listener and want to listen to other narrated books. Yeah, those are a couple of my favorites too. A lot of people really, D.L. White says, a lot of people really don't care because they don't get that. For audio, readers care about the voice more than more than the book. Any old voice won't do. And yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh, DOI also says sound effects take me right out. Yeah, it's distracted to me. I just need the voices. That's another thing I was gonna say. I think everybody has different preferences when it comes to audiobooks, because I do not like a duet or ensemble cast. It just throws me off. Like if somebody, I guess I got used to either one POV or the dual narration, which dual narration is like if it's a male and female, like the female do one chapter and the male do the other chapter, and they'll do all the different voices. And so I know some people who love ensemble cast, love duet, but for me, it's like it throws me off when I hear another voice pop up, or if I listen, and that's another thing. Probably I should have asked what speed people listen to, because I listen at like 1.5 to 2 times the speed. So music sounds really crazy, and sound effects sound really crazy when I listen to my audiobooks. But yeah, everybody's different. Ms. House, that you want to talk about what you want Black readers to know about audiobooks?
I would also say that it is reading. Your brain does the same thing listening as it does reading, and it helps with concentration, especially for children. You have to be paying attention. You can multitask, but you still need to be paying attention to what's going on in the book, or you're going to have to keep rewinding it and going back to figure out what you missed, because I've had to do it. So I know that to be a fact. And but it is the one medium of reading where you can multitask, where you can be doing something else. It's great company. I'm the type of person I like to have background noise sometimes, just as company. So that's a type of company that I don't have to be looking at a TV or a computer screen, and I don't have to visually be paying attention to it. I can just use my mind and visualize what's going on. So I encourage people, even if you think you're not, and you won't like an audiobook, and I'm just gonna say the name, find one with Jacoby Diem on it. And I do believe your mind would be changed.
We just go make a shirt that says mind changer, voice mind change. Y'all figure that hashtag out, DM's Diamonds.
Right now we're using Jacoby and Chill.
Jacoby and Chill. And how are we gonna get convert readers to listeners is just like, listen to this and then call me later or something. Listen to this and call me later.
and thank me later.
There you go. Listen to this and thank me later. There you go.
Well, thank you guys. This is a Black Readers Con. We are talking about audiobooks. Listening is reading. We have Diem's Diamonds, Jacoby Diem narrator fan group. We have Nubian Audio, Jacqueline Prother from Nubian Audio, and we have Audio in Black, Miss Alexandria House from Audio in Black. We are here to promote the Black Readers Con that is in October, the 28th through the 30th in New York and virtually. And then you can also follow us at Black Readers Con on all social media. So I will get back to the questions. Okay, well, like I said, this is Black Readers Con. Oh, Bridget Bianca says 1.25 to 1.7 feed is my sweet spot. We're talking about audiobook listening speeds. Danny Terrell says, and Danny is also admin for Diem's Diamonds. It depends on the book with dual versus duets. Some duets don't work for me, but ensemble cast is a no. All those voices don't work for me. It can be too much. Yeah, so people are on different sides with that, with what they prefer for audiobooks. Raymond Williams says, I can only do 1.0 speed for audiobooks.
That's me too, Raymond.
It's so slow.
I'm a 1.0er.
Really? I have to get it sped up. I start falling asleep.
I can't. It's just like, okay, I just need it at this is the normal pace. This is probably how I learn, all nice and slow.
I even have to listen to YouTube videos on 1.5.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, whatever works for you, right?
Yeah, this is how my brain works.
I
Yeah,
prefer one. I
Hmm?
prefer 1.0, but I will do 1.25 sometimes.
Yeah, I've been trying to push Karen. It's like, you can do it. You can do it.
Don't do it. Don't let her pressure you past your 1.25.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
DL White says, how can we get more voices in the industry? Not that I mind the phase, but I would love more. This is true.
I
Yeah,
love this question.
same.
Oh, gosh. You know what? I totally agree with you. We've got our handful of favorites, but they can't do every book. Unfortunately, they just can't. One, because of scheduling and burnout, and scheduling and burnout and burnout and burnout and scheduling. I mean, and other things that happen. This is a job, and everybody should have time off from their job. And so I've been asking myself the same question: how can I find more people? And the thing is, there are Black performers, but they don't do audiobooks. And so the thing is trying to persuade them or encourage them to do audiobooks. A lot of them do voiceover, commercials, games, animation, because those are short projects. They're not as lengthy as audiobooks and some other host of other things. So for me as a producer and casting, whatever hat I'm wearing, I'm thinking outside of the box of how I'm going to find these people. Joining additional groups where there are theater persons who work in theater. Well, during the pandemic, people were not performing plays. So, okay, let me go find, they've got the talent now. Let's teach them the skill to actually perform in audio. And then I would go to other groups where there were persons who were doing commercial and etc. and asking them, are you interested in, considering audiobook narration? Going to schools where people perform in theater. Are you interested? Have you ever heard about audio? Because a lot of us haven't even considered audio as being acting. So it's like they don't know. I mean, people don't know. So how can you know? How can you do something you don't know about? So it really should be us going out into the masses saying, hey, you ever thought about audiobook narration? You hear somebody and you say, hey, you got a nice voice. Do you have any acting experience? You ever considered such and such? And maybe guide people, in that direction. Don't be afraid. I see somebody at the store, they're talking, and I'm like, well, you got any acting experience? Because that's important. You ever consider voiceover? And they'll go into their spiel. Broadcasters. So it's really casting the net out there and kind of thinking outside the box, but sharing people why audiobooks are important and what you like about audiobooks and why they should consider it. And that's kind of what I do. I go out and I listen to people. I just had an event today and chat with people. I had them do live reads at the event, which was awesome. And people liked it and they were excited. So, I mean, that's just what I'm, trying to do to get other people and asking our favorites. Hey, you know somebody that hasn't done audio that you think might be interested? Are they, send them over.
I need to get your card, Jack. So that I'm in LA. I'll be like, here, why don't you call?
Because it's together. Audio and Black. We want to make sure we promote them so we can say, hey, there is a community of a community out there that are looking for. We're looking for voices. We're looking for talent. We're looking for authors to share this information. And we have the platforms. Now we can go forth and reach. But before we didn't really have a platform. So it's like, hey, do such and such, but we didn't have anywhere to send them to.
Yeah, I know. Ebony Flowers, she's a Broadway actress.
Oh yes, Ebony
Ebony
is the best. She will send all kind of people. She's talk to this person. I used to work with them in theater, and they're interested. And I'm like, yes, let's do it. And I listen to an audition, and they're hired. Audition, and they're hired the next day.
Awesome.
So,
yeah.
And I do want to say that Audio on Black does have a narrator directory. So we have and these are new to me narrators that have submitted so far. And so we hope that directory will help production companies, independent authors, whoever find and give these narrators a chance to record and work.
yes, I'll take them. I'll take them all.
And to build on what Ms. House and Jock shared, you know, one of the things that we try really hard to do in Diamonds is to educate our members about how to be responsible consumers of audio. Let them know that every click has power. You know, the algorithms are algorithm, as our friend Nicole Falls says. So all of the movements that you make online in relation to researching audiobooks, narrators, the authors, there are whole machines that are using that information to create profiles based on what listeners want. I found Let Me Love You because Amazon said customers like you listen to. That's how I found that book. I was on there trying to buy Lysol.
Shout out to Amazon.
Yeah, shout out to Amazon.
Oh my God. Lysol.
Right. But apparently other people who buy Lysol that were like me were looking for that type of book.
My readers are clean. They're clean.
That was an incredible experience. But what we try to share with Diamonds is, as consumers, the demand is going to drive the market. It is very expensive. We have learned just in the short time that we've been involved in this community how expensive it is to create audiobooks, and our independent authors are paying for a lot of these costs out of pocket. And so we want our members to understand what it means to be engaged and to try to drive that demand. And so hopefully Jock won't have the issues that she, is currently having with trying to recruit people to the industry. People will be ready to come because they're saying, hey, this audiobook thing is a real thing. Let me see how I can get involved. And so we want the consumers on our side to be motivated to participate as well.
And I'm so glad you said that, because organization that shall remain nameless will not provide enough information on our listenership. And so it's like there's all these surveys that go out, but there's no survey about what we're listening to, where we're listening, what type of things we're listening to. So it's like we have to build our own survey just so we can know what is going on in our own demographic. And it's just unfortunate that is not a part of the conversation, because we make up a lot of listeners. And just to go back, I think Alex had mentioned about Audible and how books are not readily visible. If you go to Audible and you look on their front page and it says it's got all these squares or whatever, and then it says like Black audio or Black voice, whatever, Black something. I don't even. You go there and like most of the books, if you think about it, doesn't really speak for all of the genres we have. Like, I don't want to necessarily have to listen to every book about somebody's biography or when we were slaves. Like, there's more to us than just that. I love Joan's whole series, but she built in history and fiction. But you don't see people talking about historical fiction for us as far as, things, or historical romance. So it's like you go there and you look up Black, and they have millions of books, and we make up like 1%, if that, of books on Audible. So that leads me to something else that I will not share here with y'all yet. But the whole point is that we have these products and we have these books, and it's going to take us to promote them. It's going to take us to find out who's listening, where people are listening, and share that information, because it's not surveyed anywhere. It's just in-house that we got the information ourselves. and that's unfortunate.
And
Okay, Jack, I
that's
think
why you need to share audioandblack.com
Yes.
yes.
Oh,
so you
don't
can more
worry.
easily find the books.
Yes.
No
Diamonds are ready to be
impact.
surveyed.
Yes, I am putting that on the list. But every time I see something in audio and black on social media somewhere, I always like share, retweet,
We
or
appreciate
respond,
you. Thank you.
because it's important. And all my books, once they come out in June, I told John I was gonna be sending them to y'all to put on the page. But I like this community, and there's enough of us to get the word out. A word of mouth is free marketing, and it's going to take us to do it. How
So
long does
this question. Oh yeah, go ahead. This question is for you, Jack. How long does it take to record an average audiobook?
Well, it depends on what an average audiobook is, and there are several factors. We mentioned them earlier. Is it single POV? Is it dual? Is it duet? Is it multicast? So, and what's the word count? There is a basis to the mathematics, that if the book is a certain word count, that it's this many total, the total runtime, which means that's how long the book is. But it just depends on who's recording. You have some seasoned narrators, they narrate full time. So, they're spending 8 hours in the booth recording. So they could probably finish a book in 2 days. You have some that work part-time, so it might take them a little longer because they have certain time of day that they record. Then you have people that just record 1 hour a day or whatever, or they're working on multiple projects. So it really just depends. Most of the people that I work with, I set a date and say, this is when it's due. And honestly, I don't care how long, as long as I get it by the deadline. But again, everybody is in different areas in their career. So there's really no set time to say how much an average audiobook takes to record, because I don't know. It just depends. I work with Jacoby. He works pretty fast. Wesley works pretty fast, but she's also really busy. So I don't know how much time she spends in the booth. It's just, here's your deadline, and she provides me with my book, and everything is all great. I work with Sean Crisden. He's also really quick.
Love him.
Oh yeah, Sean's really cool. He usually will have a 2-day turnaround for a project that's probably 60,000 words. So he works really fast, and but that's because he's full time as a narrator. So hopefully that sort of helped.
Yeah, I know. I like to listen to on Instagram and on Clubhouse. Some narrators read live,
Mm-hmm.
and I know Eric Sewell. I don't know how you say his name, but he actually lost a book, so he had to re-record it. He was re-recording it live, and it was interesting to see. I just love hearing like how they re-edit, like edit on there, and like they'll say something, so, oh, I don't like how that voice sounds, let me try it again. It's just fun to hear the process.
I love listening to them on there and TikTok when they or they're on Discord, and they will
Oh, okay, I gotta try it.
they will do some live recordings on there, and unless you get to see kind of what happens in the booth, nobody's perfect. Those books do not come out like it is when y'all get it. I'm telling y'all, if no. But that's the thing about audiobooks, is it takes a whole team of people. You got the prepper, you've got the proofer, the editor, you've got the narrator and the author providing you pronunciations, and everybody does all that work to make that product sound great. And you don't even need to know about all the stuff that happened, all the rough parts we got up front, because you get the nice pretty version.
You talked about the pronunciation. So
Yeah.
have you experienced a case where the narrator pronounces the name all wrong, and the author is like, wait a minute, that is not how you pronounce that person's name?
Yeah, I don't let it get that far. That's a no for me. Is I do not want somebody to get through a whole book and the pronunciation is wrong, because that is an error for the producer. That's not on the narrator, because that means we didn't provide them something. Now, let me, before it doesn't get to the author like that, let's just say that I've had a book where the name could be pronounced two different ways, which normally happens a lot. Most names can be depending on how you say things. And I said, well, let me just make sure, because one narrator said it one way and the other person said it that way. And so my proofer was like, well, which one is it? And I'm like, gee, I don't know. Well, let me go find out, which I should have done before. Bad me. And so I go find out, and I found out narrator 2 recorded it correctly. Narrator 1 didn't. So we sent it back as a pickup, and I was like, well, this is how you pronounce it. And they was like, well, I have a friend, they said it this way. I know, but this is how the author wants it pronounced. Good thing is the name didn't show up, like it wasn't a main character where it was like 100 and some odd times. It was 20. It was not too bad. But we do not have the practice of not sharing pronunciations up front. Yeah, I just that irks me when you get a book and it's like
not everybody feels that way.
Well, it irks me in the book, and you be like, well, how they gonna say it that way in the same book? And it's a producer issue, that a producer or a proofing issue that didn't correct that. It happens. Not with me though, but it happens to other people.
Karen the reader says, something I wish readers know. Request audiobooks by your favorite authors and narrators from your library. Libraries buy books. So important. D.L. White is the one who told me about that with the libraries. D.L. White says, we can't stress enough that if you like or love an audiobook, please shout it out. You know they are not talking about us, our books, and our voices. We really are all we got, and we know readers are hungry for audio. Sorry, I don't have my glasses.
No. and authors can, depending on how you distribute your book, you can distribute directly to libraries. I would say reach out to Overdrive and Hoopla and I guess Downpour, and you can submit. If you have a certain number of titles, you can go directly to them and say, hey, I'm interested in having these books, in your at your library available for download, and you can negotiate that way. Or, like some people, when they distribute wide, they will go through one of those platforms like Findaway or some others. I think Authors Republic may do library as well, and it go there too. So it just depends on how the author wants to get it out there, but you can go directly to the library as well and submit your books there if you've got the right contact information.
I have another question. So this is about those grown and sexy books.
Hey, that's for Alex. That's for Alex and Chanel.
So my question is, have you ever had a voice actor or narrator who maybe they feel uncomfortable? They say, oh yeah, I would love to read such and such book. But then when they read the content and they read it's grown and sexy, and they feel a little timid about doing that, a little shy about recording those books. Has that ever happened that you know of? They say, well, this is a little bit too hot for me. I don't know if I'm the one.
Nope, not for me. And they do such a great job at all the moaning and groaning and grunting and sighing and whimpering.
I don't have a fan in my wait, I found a sheet of paper.
And I'm not gonna name any names of who does a good job at all that grunting, moaning. Jacoby,
yes, you are. Go ahead.
Jacoby Diem does a real good job.
What
I
can we
see.
say?
The new
Men are talented.
hashtag is moan and sexy. There you go.
I'm moaning
Look,
sexy.
moan and chill.
Moan and chill.
There you go. There
Well,
you
let me ask you this. Have you ever heard one of the books and said, oh, there's not enough moaning and groaning?
One of mine? No.
Yes.
I'm not, baby. I don't play about that.
I mean, well, do you ever go back and say, you need to put a little bit more moaning and groaning in there?
I'm thoroughly satisfied with all of my narrators. My narrators get me, and I get them, and we get each other, and so me personally, no issues. I have not listened to one of my books where I thought, now they could have put more into that. No, they put their all in there. They do.
I have actually had somebody. I was and this book I don't think was, well, yeah, it was kind of sexy, I guess. And the person was like, I'm not comfortable with that. Now, when I put out my auditions, I put what the content is. This book it contains sexual comment, and it's this kind of language, and it's sex. You got to be, so don't audition if you don't want to do it, if you uncomfortable with it. I understand people have triggers, and there was no rape, but I don't know what kind of trigger you're having about you just auditioned for a book that says adult romance with sex in it. So you should have just bypassed that. But the person was pretty new, and I was like, yeah, this isn't for you. You should probably do children's audiobooks or something like that. I did not say that, but that's what I was thinking in my head. It's like middle grade or YA fantasy or something.
Or they could do clean romance.
Or they could do clean romance, or they could do fade to black or whatever. But I specifically said this is what it is, and his voice was great, and I was like, yes, I got a new narrator. He's gonna nail this part. And then he was like, Jacques, I'm so sorry. I'm just not gonna be able to do this book. I just don't feel comfortable, and I was just like playing the violin in the background. I was like, well, thanks. I appreciate you, and it was just, yeah. So I've had that happen to me before, but yeah, I want to be like Alex when I grow up, and people just be like, "Nah, we good."
Sure, yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe I got a talent for picking, baby, because we ain't had no issues in the house universe.
None. Yeah, I guess that's that. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So my last few questions actually can kind of go together. Being that we're all readers. So what are you currently reading? What's your favorite genre? And what's a book you think everybody needs to read?
Dang, that was a long 3-part question.
Oh, well, you can answer any parts you want.
I'm gonna go last.
Okay, can you repeat them?
Okay, I can do them separately. Like, what are you currently reading?
And she's gonna kill me for saying this because she's tired of me. But Joan Vassar's Black.
I love that you're a rereader because I am a big rereader.
Yeah, it's in constant rotation. Then I get on the phone with her and be quoting parts, and she was like, "Would you stop?" Because I basically have memorized it. So that's what I'm reading. My favorite genre, I do remember you asking. That is one of them, isn't it? Favorite genre. Okay.
Favorite genre.
Suspense, thrillers, horror, and I write romance. I know it doesn't make sense, but suspense, thrillers, horror, psychological thrillers. The twistier and mind bendier, the better. I love that kind of stuff.
You got some twists in your books, though. They might not be thrillers, but
well, that's probably why. Because that's what I have grown up. That's what my chops are is reading that kind of stuff.
I think, okay, I'm gonna get this one. I know what's gonna happen this time. Then she just throws 2 twists in there. Like, okay,
because you know why? Because a good author anticipates what the reader thinks is gonna happen, and I strive to be a good author. So I sit there and I think, now they think this is gonna happen, but watch me. So I do something different. A book people should read or listen to. I'm going to say, and again, she's going to be mad at me. For duet narration, I'm gonna say, unfortunately, Francine. That is an experience that everybody
That's by
needs
Joan
to
Vassar
experience.
also.
That Joan Vassar. People need to experience that because I'm her friend, and she told me about the book and played snippets for me. But when I got it myself and was listening to it, I was sitting there with my mouth wide open. I was like, "Who is this woman that wrote this?" So that duet narration is just like perfect. And single narration, I'll say her Black, because I legit forget that Jacoby Diem's the only person reading when I
Yeah.
listen to that.
I was
He
gonna say that he does those characters. He does about 20 characters.
got 20, girl, about 5,000.
Oh
And
my goodness.
he does them well. And I'm just gonna, for duets, I'm going to say Let Me Love You by Alexandria House because I just think it's so good. I think they did such a good job. And this is me a testament to their performance because you know, audiobooks, the performance is everything. You can have a great story, but if the performance is not there, it's not going to be a good audiobook.
Definitely, definitely love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay, Chanel, what are you currently reading?
I'm a read listener also. I love to go back, circle back to my favorites. So I am also in the Black series by Joan Vassar, but I'm also in the Cyclone series by
Hey.
Miss Alexandria House. Depending on where I am in the day, I can pivot back and forth between those books, but I do love those. I just recently finished Aubrey Penn's Forbidden Lust series.
Mm.
Four books, novellas, excellent work by Wesley Siobhan and Winston James. So I highly recommend that series.
Okay, what's your favorite genre?
I listen to just about everything. I listen to memoirs, biographies. I've listened to books about historical events. I mean, it's just anything really. Of course, being a part of Diem's Diamonds, I get a healthy dose of romance all the time. But yeah, I really really enjoy memoirs, particularly when they're read in the voice of the person themselves. Just to hear them sharing parts of their life in their own voice is something really interesting to me.
Yeah, I read Will this year, and I'm usually not one for reading popular books or books everybody and
Same.
I was shocked.
I was shocked. I was like,
That
is
book
this
was
Will Smith?
excellent. Yeah, it was excellent, and I can't. I don't think the experience as an ebook or a physical book will be the same as the audiobook. So,
Agreed. Agreed.
Ja,
I usually stay away from these type of questions. So, but I will tell you, I am actually reading a book. I see I had to go pull up the title so I didn't misread it. It's called The Once and Future Queen. Hold on, make sure I say that. The Once and Future Queen. It is a Guinevere retelling. Um and it is by Parker J. Cole. And I really like the book because I guess it's on the end of like YA. YA is it's not my favorite genre. We'll get back to that. But I wanted to read this book because I'm hopeful that I will acquire it into audio. Um, the book that I think everybody needs to listen to is The Hate You Give. Is like my all-time favorite audiobook. When I listen to that book, and like Bonnie Turpin, I absolutely love Bonnie
oh,
Turpin.
she's great. Yeah,
And the way that she just, I don't know, I felt every parts of that book. Like she just did it for me in that book. And so I think everybody should listen to it at some point in their lifetime. And my favorite, duo. I can't, I don't know. I don't listen as much as I used to when I'm working. So just know that. But my favorite genre is, I love thriller. thriller, psychological, anything. I'm a big fan of that when I watch TV and things like that. And anything action packed, anything that has like a cop or FBI agent or something like that. I love those type of books. And then second, I like fantasy. I like high fantasy. So I, witches, fae, otherworldly, urban fiction. I guess that's what it would be called. Urban fiction, urban fantasy. Sorry, urban fantasy is my second favorite. But that's all I have for you guys. Oh, and I will say that we just wrapped the production of the Black and Soul series that Wesley Siobhan narrated. And it is a cult thriller, mystery, psychological. It's like all of that stuff wrapped up. And it also is very impactful as it relates to uh, brown persons of darker skin and how people make comments and things if you listen to the first book. So I think she did a really good job in that series. So that's a shameless pitch that I'm going to be sending to Audio and Black so they can promote it on their website. But
Love it.
I think we reviewed one of the books.
You might have done the first one. The books 2 through 4 are coming out for June is audiobook month and also around Juneteenth. So I was trying to wait and get it in June.
Yeah,
so
I'm pretty sure we reviewed book 1. I think it went up last week. So.
Okay, good. Well, I know everybody's like, well, I need book 2. So I was trying to wait and push them all out together for everybody. So
okay.
Thank you.
Looking forward to it.
Yay.
We got some favorites in the audience. Let's see.
Yes, let's see. Recommendations.
We got.
Come here, buddy.
I don't know if I have a favorite audio. This is D.L. White. I don't know if I have a favorite audiobook. Oh, I got my glasses now. But Bonnie Turpin narrates it. It's good as soul. Also love Ebony Flowers. Yes, I'm a big fan of both of them.
Love them.
Let's see. Michael Boatman's narration of Walter Mosley, Easy Rawlins mystery is really good. And that's one I want to reread. I read those back in the 90s, and I want to get back to those. So Alicia, I'm sorry, I don't want to mess up your name. She said, okay, thank you. I just listened to the Lady Black Unicorn, and it was so good. That's what's her name? Oh, is it The Last Black Unicorn? Yeah, okay. I can't remember her name. Karen the Reader says, my favorite audiobooks, The Guy Next Door by D.L. White. Yes, that is a constant re-listen for me. Real by Kennedy Ryan, and You Got Anything Stronger by Gabrielle Union.
Yes, to all of those.
Mm-hmm.
Bridget Bianca says, Emmanuel and Wesley going back and forth in A Prior Affair by CCJ. Ooh, child. I just read that yesterday, and I love like the kind of fated mate type things. So that I love that book. So yeah. Let's say what we got. Tiffany Haddish is The Last Black Uniform. Yes,
that's right.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, and a couple of people I have favorites. Is it Sherelle Palmer? I like, and somebody who what is her name? Who does a lot of Nyopia Bryant books. I should have this ready, but yeah, it's a lot of narrators that are just favorites. It's a lot of people. I don't know if a lot of people out there, but yeah, definitely look up the books and search by narrators. You can. I found a lot of books searching by narrators.
I love Bonnie Turpin. I also like Dion Graham, Robin Miles, Myra Lucretia Taylor. Those are some that I'm very familiar with that I've heard a lot. So I like listening to them as well.
Dion Graham is such a great guy. And I'm always like, when are you going to do a book for me? And he's always just so busy because, y'all, he's the voice of like 48, the first 48. Mm-hmm. And but one day I'm gonna have him do a book for me And I will make sure I let you know, Kathy, so you can review it for me. I'm going to do that book just for you.
Yes, Wonder by CCJ. That is Wesley Siobhan and Sean Kristen. It is an apocalyptic fantasy story,
Yes.
almost
It was
like
so
an Alice
good.
in Wonder,
Yeah,
Alice
the
in
retelling.
Wonderland retelling.
Yeah.
CCJ, Christina C. Jones, is an amazing talent. She's got a backlist of like 80 something books. And it just kills me that more people don't know about her work. And the narration on that book was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Sherry Peel is who I was trying to remember. Love,
Oh,
love
yeah.
Sherry Peel.
Oh, Monica says Heartbreak You by E. Kane. So E. Kane is an amazing talent. She is, I think, a New York DJ, but she narrated Heartbreak You series by Johnny Sherry, and she did the entire book by herself. And I kept checking the credits to see who else was doing the narration because she was so good. If y'all have not listened to that series, it is a must listen.
Yeah, I have to listen to that. I heard a clip and I was like, that's a guy.
Look, I was
She got her brother doing
confused.
that.
I was totally confused. I was like, is this E. Kane or is this someone else?
Oh, it's Karen the reader. Agrees with me. Sherry Peel. She narrates a lot of Naomi Bryant books, and she is amazing. Yeah, she does a good. Yeah, she does great voices. Sorry. Oh, Tasha Leza says Real with Jacoby Diem, Ebony Flowers, and Nicole Small was amazing narration. Yeah, it was. That definitely was.
Mm-hmm.
Very thrilled. They won the 2022 Audie Award for
They
romance
did.
for that cast. Really proud of them.
Oh, Our Muted Recklessness by Love Velvet. Yeah, that book had me messed up. It was great narration. Bridget Bianca says so many words. The Prototype series by Jacinta Howard made me wish I could hear the band singing and playing the songs in the story. I was invested. Yes.
Jacinta Howard is another underrated, incredible talent. We love her.
Yeah.
You're on mute, Summer.
Oh, I say I'm not usually a college romance fan or, young adult or, kids in general. But I like that series though.
Yeah, that was a great series.
That's all the questions. Oh no, I'm sorry. I have my last question. And I think we pretty much covered this. Like, what are our favorite narrators? I know Jock probably can't answer that. Who are your favorite narrators?
Well, y'all already know, so I ain't gonna say it.
Yes, Jacoby and Wesley and Dennerley and who else you got on there?
I have really, I think everyone who's narrated, Sean Kristen, Mari.
Oh yes, sorry, Sean Kristen and Mari.
Emmanuel Ingram, Winston James just did some stuff for me. He did my Niles Adams poetry collection. He did it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Jay Shani Michaels is a newer narrator. She just did duet narration with Winston James for my paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
And so I say everybody who's narrated for me is a favorite because they've done so good. I'm so grateful for the work being on audio, and because I was an audiobook lover before I was a writer, so I understand the importance of the performance. I understood it from jump, and I think that's why I made sure I had a say in who the narrators would be.
I was just looking up Believe in Me with Sean, Kristen, and Mari.
Yes. They do so good. They do so good on this series. Believe in Me is a re-listen for me too. I listen to it over and over. I just love how he voices off. It was great.
MWU. I can't see. Well, she said she liked Audra McDonald and Jodi Picoult's book, Small Great Things. She did the voice of the character Ruth.
Oh.
Yeah, and the lady on Bridgerton, what's her name? She plays Lady Danbury. I can't remember her name. But she did narration for one of Talia Hibbert's books. I like her too. I've heard her in other stuff too. So, let me look up her name. Yeah, so thank you all for joining us. Black Readers Con, let me remind us all that we have our Black Readers Conference coming up in October. Sorry. In New York City and online. And you can follow us on all social media at Black Readers Con, and Instagram, on Facebook, YouTube. I think we have a TikTok, I believe, and Twitter. And if you guys could all remind us where we can follow you, we have Diem's Diamonds is on. They have a Facebook group, and you're on Instagram and Twitter. And did I miss anything?
TikTok, YouTube.
TikTok, YouTube, yes. And NubianAudio.com and AudioandBlack.com.
Yep. And we're on Instagram, Facebook.
You guys are on aren't you on TikTok? I think I saw you on there. No?
We are, but we haven't done anything.
Oh, okay. Like me. I was just on there.
I decided I wouldn't mention it.
Oops. My bad.
Yes.
We are not expert TikTok users.
I was just I'm not either. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Clubhouse, Facebook, and I'm on TikTok under the Audio Flow. And yeah, I think that's enough. It's a lot. It's really a lot to try to keep up with. So
Well, thank you all for joining. I love audiobooks, and so this was a really special panel for me because it's been a lifesaver, especially when the pandemic hit and I couldn't read all my ebooks. Oh, Karen, the reader, what did she say? Sorry, Karen.
He said, this was an amazing evening as always. Thank you all so much.
Yes, thank you. Any last words?
Just thank you all for the opportunity and the platform. I mean, Black Readers Conference is doing some amazing things. So just glad to be here.
All right, cool.
Yes, thank you for that. Thank you for the invite. Because we're new. We just we were just born in February. So but we're growing fast, thank goodness. So thank you for inviting us.
Summer and I appreciate you all so much for joining us tonight. Like she said, we love audiobooks, so we're excited about this evening.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the invite, and thank you to everybody on panel. And here we go, moving forward to push our initiative.
Okay.
Go.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for joining.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you.